So since MSNBC's channel ratings are in the absolute and complete tanker, they have lost about 40 to 50% of their audience post the 2024 presidential election. The host of the Morning Joe show on MSNBC have decided to wave the white flag. They actually went down and reached out to President Donald Trump and went down to Mar-a-Lago to personally meet with him because they saw that their ratings are in complete dumpster and they had to find new ways to cover him. I guess all of the rhetoric of calling a president-elect a fascist, a Hitler, a dictator, all those disgusting, deplorable, defamatory ways did not go over well with your audience. They saw that and said, you know what, we got to reach out to Trump. We have to try to mend water under the bridge to try to have some type of communication, some type of connection with them, because he is going to be back in the White House for the next 4 years, whether they like it or not. So we're going to play a clip of their previous covering of Donald Trump from all the nasty, disgusting rhetoric of calling him a dictator, a fascist, a Hitler, how they negatively and biasly covered his presidential campaign compared to Kamala Harris's campaign, and the fact that now they went down to Mar-a-Lago to personally speak with them, and they personally requested to go and meet and speak with them, and they said, you know what, we're going to try to cover him a little bit differently because, again, they have lost more than 40 to 50% of their audience because their bullshit biased rhetoric is not going over well with the audience. Let's take a look.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
I like how this guy calling people stupid or one of them, yet you literally called his Madison Square Garden rally in New York City a pro-Nazi rally. You compared it to fascism. You called this man Adolf Hitler. And you thought that message, that fear-mongering, was going to go over well with the American public, and it didn't. That nasty, disgusting, hateful, defamatory rhetoric is the reason why Kamala Harris got her ass kicked in the election, because people saw that you guys were not real news. You guys are fake news. You guys are a circus. You guys are a clown show. You guys are the reason why your ratings are so fucking bad, and you are reaching, trying to grasp anything you can to save your show from fucking getting canceled. That's why Comcast is looking to sell MSNBC, because of its poor ratings. All of their on-air analysts and their primetime shows are doing awful in the ratings department. That's why. So you guys are the real stupid ones, but you try to portray the people who are Trump supporters or just simply wanted to vote for Trump because he was the better out of the two candidates compared to Kamala Harris as stupid, Nazi lovers, Hitler lovers, and all these disgusting, defamatory remarks. You call Trump supporters or people who simply voted for Trump, not because they're Trump supporter, people who voted for Trump as racist, pedophiles, all these disgusting things. And it did not work, and it did not go over well with the 74 million people who voted for him. This is you guys waving the right flag. Just fucking a minute, but let's continue play this clip.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion,
Now you see that. They personally requested to reach out to Donald Trump and his team to fly down to Mar-a-Lago and personally speak with them. Trump didn't request to see them. Trump didn't ask for them. They asked for Donald Trump. Trump did not need them. they need a Trump. Again, this is them waving the white flag. They see that their ratings are completely and utterly awful. Their ratings are complete and utterly disgusting. They're in the trash. They have collapsed post the 2024 election. Their continued biased rhetoric of Donald Trump is not working. People are tuning them off, and they said, you know what, we've got to switch our technique, because clearly calling this man Hitler and a racist, a fascist, a dictator is not going over well with the people. So you mean to tell me that almost 74 million people who voted for Trump are all fascists, are all Hitler lovers, are all racists, are all pedophiles, all support a man who has said all these disgusting, inflammatory remarks towards women? No, it is the rhetoric that you guys have spewed towards the American people and thought that that was going to work, but it didn't. It backfired on you guys. Again, this is them waving the white flag, said, you know what? Our bias and negative coverage of a political candidate is not working. We got to change tunes, or else we're going to be off the air.
Deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders.
Now, I want to know, did you agree on to apologize to that man to his face? And did you apologize to Donald Trump's family? Because your constant negative, biased, bullshit, fake rhetoric has not only cost that man his image, you guys have also caused that man to get assassinated not once but twice. The disgusting, defamatory, consistent lying remarks on a person's name have caused such a divide in this country. You guys have caused the division in this country. So did you go down to Mar-a-Lago to apologize to Donald Trump's face personally and to his family? Because again, their constant and bullshit rhetoric has caused Donald Trump to get assassinated, an assassination attempt on his life, not once, but twice. Death threats to not only him, but also to his family. Did you guys apologize for that? I don't want to hear, hey, you know what, we're going to restart communication. We're wrong. Good. It's good to take accountability. But did you apologize for all the disgusting, defamatory remarks you said about him and his family? Because again, that constant bullshit, fear-mongering, lying rhetoric almost cost Donald Trump his life, not once, but twice. Him and his family has received countless amount of death threats because of the words that have came out of your mouth. Did you apologize to him? We want to know, was there a full-blown apology to Donald Trump and to his family? Let's see what you're going to have to say.
With whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
Well, we know why you guys reached out and wanted to go speak with Donald Trump, because your ratings are complete and utterly shit. No one is watching you guys anymore. And Fox News is completely crushing you guys in the ratings because people have shifted from the left to the right, because all you guys continue to spew is nonsense bullshit rhetoric that the middle class and the 99% of hardworking Americans don't want to hear. When they're out there in the streets, people do not want to hear about fascism or Hitler or racism or Nazism. They don't care about that. They're talking about finance. They're talking about, hey, we need border security. They're talking about, hey, we need to resolve tensions and conflict in the Middle East. We don't want to go to a possible World War III, because the Democrats, the left, they are war hungry. We want peace and we want to be safe and we just want to work and live our lives and keep as much money as we can. That is what people are worried about. But in that soliloquy, I have never heard those two co-hosts say, hey, Donald Trump, I'm sorry. I haven't heard an apology. I haven't heard I'm sorry for the rhetoric, for their constant negative coverage of him and his political campaign or his presidential campaign. I have not heard none of those words come out of their sorry ass mouths. They're probably not going to admit it. Again, a lack of accountability on these two fake ass people's faces. Where's the I'm sorry? Where is the apology that you owe that man from the constant rhetoric that you have said about him towards your audience? I have not heard it. They probably won't say it. They probably told the Trump personally, but as loud as the disrespect was towards Donald Trump, the apology should be even louder. That same energy and veracity of those remarks that you kept saying about Donald Trump, the negative coverage about Donald Trump and his presidential campaign, the apology should be even louder, should be even boastfuler. You need to be begging down on your knees saying, you know what, Trump, we are so sorry for the things that we have said about you, about your campaign, about your political career, about your 4 years as a president, post your presidency, throughout your entire coverage of your political career. They owe that man an apology. I didn't hear a fucking apology. I didn't hear shit. Again, as loud as the disrespect and the rhetoric was, the apology needs to be as louder and more public than the disrespect was. I ain't hear it. I ain't hear it.
5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as...
Yeah, because you guys have caused that divisiveness. You guys have the one that created all this division between people. It's okay for people to disagree on politics. That's not going to be a family relationship ender. But when you guys have come out and say that, hey, anybody who supports Donald Trump or voted for Donald Trump are racist, are fascist, are dictator lovers, are Hitler lovers, are Nazi lovers, that is a complete and utterly disrespectful. That's an insult. You guys have purposely caused so much division in people's relationship between their spouses, their family, their friends, and loved ones. You guys have caused this division in the United States of America. Even post-presidential election, when 74 million people spoke and said, we're going to put Trump back in the White House. Not because he's a great character, moral person, it's because he is better suited for the job than Kamala Harris. And you still call those people who simply voted for him all those disgusting things. You guys have caused all this division. So where's the fucking apology? I have not heard shit. I haven't heard I'm sorry. I haven't heard that we were wrong. I haven't heard none of those things to take accountability for the rhetoric. Look at that smug look on this motherfucker's face right here. No apology, no remorse whatsoever. This was just them waving a white flag and saying, you know what, we gotta try to save our asses before we don't have a job on MSNBC no longer. They're trying to save their asses so they can find some way, shape, or form to still stay on air because their ratings are absolutely god-awful.
Clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send.
Again, you see how they threw that little shade in there. Oh, well, he denied the 2020 president election, even though it took 2 weeks for them to count all the ballots. Oh, the January 6th, even though, it's people's right to protest. I don't agree with them, going to the Capitol, but it is people's right to protest if they did not think that election was fair. Hell, Hillary Clinton is still saying that she don't think Donald Trump won in 2016. So what's the fucking problem? All right. But you have all these people, the 34 felony counts, which we all know were all politically motivated, and they're about to get dismissed before he takes back into the White House as president again. All of that stuff was politically motivated, manufactured by you guys, by also CNN and also ABC. I have yet to hear an accountability or I'm sorry or remorse for their actions. This is a fake ass apology, as fake as it can get.
Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Yeah, and if I'm Donald Trump, he's a better man than me, because I would never, ever communicate with those guys ever again. If they have ever reached out to me and say, hey, we want to talk to you, and I saw all those disgusting things that they have said about me on air throughout the years, they wouldn't even get a text message back from me. Fuck all of them. All right, because their show is about to get canceled. Their ratings are fucking awful. Their networks, Comcast is looking to sell MSNBC because their ratings are doing absolute complete dog shit. They don't want to get canceled, and they know they still need to have a job to feed their families. If I'm Donald Trump, I would have said, fuck you guys. This is karma, bitches. Don't come crying to me, talk about, hey, you know what? Let's try to amend our relationship. Let's try to put water under the bridge. No, keep that water as high as it should be. Okay, all those things that you said about me have not only gotten my family death threats, gotten me death threats. I've also almost got killed twice because of your constant rhetoric. So if I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't even take another meeting, another text message. I wouldn't even look those guys in the fucking face. But he's a better man than me. He's trying to mend and trying to repair all the divisiveness that is in today's country. You know, hopefully he can, because there is a lot of bullshit going out there in the world, mainly because of politics, that was stirred up by those guys. But I have not heard an apology. I have not heard a lack of accountability from them. So this was them just waving the white flag, saying, you know what, we're just going to cover Donald Trump a little bit differently because we need to stay on air because our ratings are absolute dog shit. But this was not sincere at all. It was fake. It was artificially manufactured, and I still will not watch MSNBC, and a lot of people will still not watch MSNBC, and that's why Fox has completely dominated them in the ratings post-election, and that's why MSNBC can't even reach 1 million viewers because nobody is buying the left-lying bullshit propaganda, fake news anymore. All right, but let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree, disagree with my commentary? Leave your comments down below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys later.